Welcome to BPTV. I'm your host, Andy Amrine, and this is another Around Town. Today we're going to be talking to Samantha and our friends from South Arts. So thank you for tuning in to BPTV. Samantha, how about introducing yourself to all our viewers?
I am Samantha Giancola from Giancola Art and Design. I am one of the co-vice presidents of South Arts Pittsburgh.
How about giving us a little background on your history?
South Arts Pittsburgh,
Let's start on
my history.
Yeah, let's start
Okay.
on your history. Let's tell everybody who you are and what got you involved in being an artist.
Well, that started way back when I was young. I started to paint probably and draw about third grade, I really can remember.
Okay.
And that was about the first time that a teacher was like, hey, you really are talented, you could do this. And it just stuck with me.
Okay.
So I've been creating off and on ever since. Before kids, I was in interior design, but then
Very
I became
nice.
a stay-at-home mom and needed something to get back into the arts. So I picked up watercolor and have been doing that and other creations ever since. I joined South Arts Pittsburgh once the kids were old enough to be at school during their hours.
So what is South Arts? How long has the group been around, and what do they do? Tell us a little bit about what and who South Arts are.
Well, South Arts Pittsburgh has been around since 1984.
Okay.
They started here in the schoolhouse. Part of their mission is to make sure that they're bringing art into the community as well as service. So we are a nonprofit organization that we do a lot of fundraising for different organizations in Bethel Park specifically, but also we're starting to try to do outreach outside of as well.
So now the members of South Art are from all over the South Hills, hence the name South Arts?
Yes.
It's not just Pittsburgh or Bethel Park?
No, it's not just Bethel Park. We have people from all over the place come.
So that there's no boundaries. Anyone from around can join South Arts?
Oh yeah, we welcome anybody, and with open arms. We are a very welcoming community. It doesn't matter what you do. We have a range from like watercolor artists like me to oil painters, but also we've had fiber artists come in. We allow you to bring whatever you like to do.
Whatever your skill is. Okay, and do you meet just to do artwork, or do you meet to have strategy meetings about what to do, or all of the above? Do people just do their artwork at home, or could they come and use this building as a studio?
Well, every Friday from 10 a.m. till 1, we have open studio down in the co-op room on the first floor across from Reginald's Coffee. So it's great. You get to pick up coffee and then come and bring your art and play. But we also have, every other night we have an open studio, and that's a Wednesday night from 6:30 to 9. Okay. Or there is also figure drawing classes here as well.
So you actually have members that teach?
Yes, yeah, and excuse me, the figure drawing is actually just figure drawing, not a class, but we do have classes available as well. We've just started those back up this year, where the most recent one was with Wendy Mackin. She helped the students learn portrait painting you could bring acrylic, but she generally does oil painting. They got to enjoy that this past week, actually.
So if somebody's interested in South Arts, they actually can be just a beginner. They don't have to be someone who's been painting for years and years.
Oh yeah, or you have never done art ever in your life and come in and just want to sit down and art. Yeah, we don't care who or what skill level you are. We just want you to be a part of the community and get you locked in. And once you come in, we definitely are like, how can we use your talents
So for
for
me,
what we
even
do?
making a smiley face, they're not smiling because I can't make the smile right side up. So someone like me, you'd even have a spot for.
Oh, for sure, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
you won't tease me that I can't make a smiley face?
No, definitely not.
So how long have you been involved with South Arts then?
I believe it's been almost 3 years or going on. It's about 2.5. Like I said, I started when my youngest was going into kindergarten and drove right up the street from my house and went up to here and decided to join the group. So
How did you find out about South Arts?
I used to drive past this building to work in my working days and saw that there was art community here, and so I looked them up online, but also finding out that they do the Galleria shows, which is currently going on for us, and I kind of scouted the different art groups to try to find out which one fit me, and because they are so local to myself, I was like, well, that's perfect. I will join that one. So
you said there's a show at the Galleria currently going on, but how many shows a year do you really have? How many events do you?
We are trying to add more and more events. So I think when I started, we only had an open house and 2 Galleria shows.
Okay.
So I came in and was like, why don't we have artist markets? So now we're bringing in the artist market. And for this year, it will be like the 3rd show that we'll be doing in November.
So why do you do a show or a market? What does that do for the artists? How important are these shows and markets?
Well, it's important, especially for beginner artists, to get their art out into the world and to get over that beginning phase of being afraid of whether or not their work is good enough. Right. So we definitely love to have first timers come in and do their work and show. It's also just important for Bethel Park to have a lot of art in one place, and it's great for the community to come to be able to shop and see what's available to them. But it really goes back to the artist of giving them an opportunity to be there. Our tables aren't that high to price for them, so they're able to afford it if you're a beginner or you're a master. So. Yeah.
Do you remember your first art show or your first exhibit?
I do.
How old were you? It was just last year, right? No.
Well, I remember the ones back in school, of course, of walking through, and our teachers put up our art all in the hallways back home. But my very first one was actually here in Bethel Park at a local church here, and it was more of a maker's market or craft market because. Well, first of all, it was my community, so it was my church. I felt comfortable, but also it was, an opportunity to just start somewhere.
Right.
And I think that's great to plug yourself in somewhere to figure out what the market is, so you can a little bit learn of what's going to sell, what's not going to sell, or just to get yourself out there in one way or the other.
So with you doing watercolors, does a picture normally take you an hour, a day, a week? Do you start and stop?
It depends on what it is. I started my business with little cards, so I made the painting, and then so it was really quick, 30 minutes, because this watercolor is quick. But a pet portrait or a house portrait, which I started to do after that, a few hours, but I would come and go because as a mom, I had to plug in when I could.
Mommy, I need you.
Right,
Mommy.
I had to do in between the kids, so it was kind of a perfect.
Do you have a studio at home?
I do, just a small studio, shared space with my husband, the office on one side, my studio on the other. But
do you have a line down the middle of the floor and tell
we
them
should.
not to cross?
That's a good idea, but no, we do not.
Okay. So you're showing currently at the Galleria, but you have one of your bigger events coming up in a couple weeks here in November.
Right.
Why don't you tell us about it? What are the dates of this event?
It's November 9th and 10th.
Okay.
It will be Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 2. And
that's here at the
It's here at the
schoolhouse?
schoolhouse. We're trying to fill out the schoolhouse. Similar to what we did with you in July.
Okay, that was Art and Music Festival.
Yes, yes. So we will have about 25 artists, vendors.
It's a nice number.
So about 10 downstairs, the rest upstairs.
Okay.
And then in the co-op room, we'll have a galleria. People are still signing up for that. Those are
So
members.
what's a galleria compared to the rooms?
The gallery will have screens up that will have different art pieces specifically from South Arts Pittsburgh. You have to be a member to be in the show, which is only fee for a year is $40 for the whole year, and that goes directly to us and lets us do a lot of good things in the community.
Expenses, right?
That will have, we don't know the number on that one yet. Like I said, they're still signing up.
So
for
that'll
that.
just be your show screens and people serpentine through the room and see 3 or 4 dozen pieces of artwork?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
and all these artworks, this isn't just for show, everything there will be for sale?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
As well as we'll have a raffle basket that the artists who are part of the gallery show will donate. And all of those proceeds are going to go to the Asheville artists that were affected by the hurricane. So we have a few of our artists who have visited that magical place in Asheville and wanted to give back after we saw what happened there. And so the rest of the group jumped on and loved the idea.
If you aren't aware, the entire studio is gone, the whole building is
Yeah,
gone.
the whole River Arts District was underwater and all destroyed. So as another artist community, we know we want to give it a little bit of something that helped
for
them get back. Yeah.
Okay, so the artwork that's going to be there in the gallery,
Mm-hmm.
are we talking price range from $5 to hundreds of dollars? There's small,
yeah.
medium, large, everything.
Yeah, we have things as small as like cards, greeting cards that the
All
artists
handmade
make.
though.
All handmade, or they were prints from original artwork for a lot of the artists. And usually blank, because we're good with pictures, not with words, a lot of us say. And those are about like $5 to, we've had paintings as high as $3,000 up on our galleries as well. So we have a wide variety of price range.
Okay, now, and something like that sells that day, that money goes to that artist.
Yes.
So you're supporting the local artists when you're buying these pieces of art.
Right, and then just 10% of those sales go back to South Arts Pittsburgh, so we can continue to have these events for the artists. But yeah.
So besides the gallery, then the other artists around, what are the individuals? They have their own displays, their own tables, their own backdrops?
Yes, each artist has their own, we're providing 8-foot tables, thanks to you. We're gonna also provide some tables for us, and the Historical Society as well is giving tables. But they can fill it however they want. All we provide is the table, and we've had some artists who will need maybe a little extra space, so they'll bring in backdrops and whatnot. One of the artists I can think of that she'll be downstairs, Run and Brush is her business name, but Ariane Grizel. She is a very talented acrylic artist who does beautiful Pittsburgh paintings, florals, and I don't know what she can't paint, honestly. But she does a great display where she has all her big art pieces behind her and then smaller pieces for sale in front of her. We'll also have, there's a couple new artists. It's the first time that they've ever been in any type of those shows, which I just love when they tell me that they're the first time and brand new, and I love to see how they're doing throughout the day. So those will be great experiences for them.
Do you remember selling your first piece?
Yeah, I do. It was a card, actually, because I do. And I remember who it was. And so you definitely
exciting.
Hold on to those memories. But so it'll be great to see how they do. We'll have a few pottery people as well, some of which you might know from. There's a place called Made for You in McMurray.
McMurray, yeah.
She teaches a class. Kristen DiGiovanni is her name. She's a local teacher in that area too. We have a variety. Like the first floor, most of who the vendors are members of South Arts Pittsburgh, because we do send out to South Arts Pittsburgh artists first before we send it out to the general public. That is just a benefit of being part of our group, that you get first first dibs on the tables. So they're all downstairs, and upstairs they're from all over Pittsburgh area. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And will overflow be outside at all, or with it being November, you're trying to
Well,
keep everything in the building?
we are trying to keep everything in the building for November because the weather is iffy. We don't want to
Unpredictable.
freeze any author.
Could be 80 degrees,
Yeah.
could be 8 degrees. Huh?
Yeah, right. But we do have food trucks lined up
Oh,
that we will
marvelous.
have. We're still working on where they'll be parked outside, but we'll have about 5 different trucks, but they're rotating, so 3 each day there'll be a food truck.
Very nice.
Yeah. So we're excited of that addition because we could feed our artists while
Yeah.
they're here.
Breakfast, and lunch, and artwork.
Right,
I'm
right.
working in Reginald, so
Right, and Reginald's
everyone's
can't
going
go
to be
wrong.
happy.
Right.
Okay. Any other surprises that are going to be there, or?
Something that some people might not think would be here at an artist market is a bunch of authors.
Okay.
Got
I
a
would
lot
not
of,
have thought that. no.
Yeah, we're having authors that will be mainly up here in the Historical Society and room upstairs, but I think they're a fun addition to, because they truly are artists as well.
Sure.
It's just a different art that people don't generally think of. So.
Yeah, excellent. So how many artists do you think you have now between everybody?
Well, it'll be over 25 because
Okay.
we'll have that for the vendors, and we'll probably have 10 to 15 or more.
Okay,
in
so
the,
there's room for more if somebody is watching and say, boy, I really want to do that. Whether you're a 15-year-old artist or a 90-year-old artist, there'd be a space for you.
Not for this show. We are pretty full for what we want to do for this show, but definitely if you are interested in future shows, reach out to South Arts Pittsburgh, and we'll put you on a list that will be notified for the next show, because we
Okay.
do already have something lined up for the spring.
Spring? Okay, so you'll be doing a spring and a fall, and the summer one is the Big Arts Festival
Yes.
itself. So
Yes.
it's exciting.
It is.
You know, I'm glad to see South Arts is growing and flourishing, and you know, it's a great addition to Bethel Park to have you as part of it. And you like being in this building?
Oh, this is probably my favorite building of all of Bethel Park. So yeah, for sure. I'm a little obsessed with the schoolhouse. So
You're home away from home.
it is. It feels like that, and you can tell the amount of work that has gone into this building has been amazing, and what is continuing to happen here is pretty amazing. So I love that South Arts gets to be a part of all of that fun.
Excellent. Would you care to tell us what's here in front of us?
This is a painting, actually. It's a work in progress from one of our artists that is here for Open Studio. Patty is her first name, but she's working on acrylic landscape. It just goes to show we do a little bit of everything. But yeah, this is,
So
she's
we
not
just
quite
walked
done,
by
but we stole
and
it from her.
stole it, and she has to take a break and have some coffee. Okay, we'll have to get it back down to her.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to share the story of South Arts. You know, we'll let everyone know your contact information and emails and everything else. And I look forward to seeing you at your show on the 9th and 10th of November.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time.
No problem.